You can't win football games without fight. And that's basically what we lack from the time that Derek went down until now. Um, and that is why we will watch the rest of the playoffs at home. It's a thing where it almost felt like the team was so hurt by losing him that they didn't fight anymore. And I love football, and I played for a long time, and I've coached, and it's my whole life basically. I love football, and it's what I want to do for the rest of my life is coach. Um, but you can't win without fight, and I don't care what level it is. And yeah, they say college can be rah rah and high school's rah rah, pros aren't rah rah. I think that's utter BS. You can't win without fight. It's amazing to me. I'm pretty young. I'm 26, and I've watched the Raiders my whole life, but really, really watched the Raiders at least since I was 10 or 11 years old. I've never seen this team, and I might even argue any team. And again, I don't watch any teams closely as like I do the Raiders, but any team that can be so hurt by the loss of one player. And it's kind of awe-inspiring for it to be our quarterback. After the years of the Kerry Collinses and the Aaron Brooks and the Carson Palmers and the Terrell Pryors and the Jamarcus Russells, to have a quarterback that can mean so much to our team, that we can look like absolute juggernauts with him in there, and the minute he's not in there, we look awful. So it's kind of amazing to have that player, but it's also kind of scary for this reason that we just saw right there. For what we just saw. And I've got some friends and family members that are just diehard Dallas Cowboy fans, and they're on this Dak train. And believe me when I say I've thought Dak Prescott was going to be a good quarterback. I didn't think he would do what he did this year, but I thought he would be a good quarterback since he was at Mississippi State. I was not surprised that he was going to be a good quarterback. But Dak Prescott is not anywhere close to as important to his team as Derek Carr is to us. And that is something that a lot of those Cowboy fans don't agree with, which is crazy to me, because you have Ezekiel Elliott in and of itself. Like, that's... We don't have that. And I've expressed my frustrations with Murray, and I know a lot of people disagree with that, and that's totally fine. Like, I love that. I love that we can talk about these things and you can explain it, what you feel, and I can explain what I feel. But we need someone else in there as well. If we don't retain Murray, definitely, obviously, we need someone else. But even if we do retain Murray, I felt like he ran pretty decent yesterday, and he's got those games where he does. But here's the thing. Houston, yesterday, playoff game, he averaged 3.2 yards a carry. Denver, injured Carr, 2.2 yards a carry. Indy, Carr gets hurt, 2.7 yards a carry. Carolina, Carr is injured, 2.4 yards a carry. Derek makes Latavius better, and I know that's obvious, because if Derek isn't in there, we're not a passing threat, so teams can stack the box and really handle Latavius, but no excuses. That's a reflection on Latavius. That's a reflection on Bill Musgrave. That's a reflection on Jack Del Rio. That's a reflection on the offensive line, especially yesterday. You can't go into it with excuses. The situation was what the situation was. Donald Penn was hurt. Rodney Hudson got hurt. No excuses. So, we'll talk about that coming up here. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my thoughts on the game. Like I said, I felt like we didn't fight very much, and there were some times where we did, where it looked where we were at least fighting. But for the most part, we just kind of sat back and got punched in the mouth. And like the cards are stacked against us. But like I said, there's no excuses in this league. There's no excuses in football, period. So that doesn't make me feel good. It doesn't make me sit there and I don't get me wrong. I'm so excited that this team had this season. But I don't sit there and I'm just butterflies in my stomach and I feel so happy that we just made the playoffs. That's not the goal. You have to need to win. You have to need to win it all with everything you have, no matter what. We're about to watch 8 teams have that. And we should be one of those 8 teams. So, next year, couple things. I felt like our defense played decently, but they're kind of the same story. Khalil was kind of shut down, or not. He wasn't shut down. He had a lot of really big plays, but he didn't get any sacks, and it was hard because we have no interior pass rush. So, that's the D tackles left a lot to be desired. Middle linebacker. Oh, you'll hear me say it again and again and again. And then safeties. All right, corners. I feel like they're too slow. David Amerson, I like David Amerson, but I just feel like they kind of are too slow. And our linebackers can't cover. So it's really difficult for Khalil and Bruce Irvin to get going when they can get doubled and whatever else and held, because the refs don't want to call that, but we'll leave that alone. If CJ Fedorowicz is blocking Khalil Mack on the edge and he can seal the edge from Khalil Mack, odds are he's holding. Let's just be real. CJ Fedorowicz. No. Anyway. Linebackers is a mess. It's just a mess, especially, like I said, middle linebacker. That Osweiler touchdown run makes me absolutely sick to my stomach. And that was, I don't even know that. I'm only going off my memory, but that was Khalil in coverage trying to cover the tight end who escaped out. And there's no one there to hit Brock Osweiler. There's no one there watching that. So, and you could see that it was a mistake by Corey James playing middle linebacker as he tried to get there almost as a oh crap moment, like this is where I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But he's too slow. He didn't get there, Luke Kuechly would have been there. That's all I'm saying. So, can't fault. You can't fault Corey James. He's a rookie, and I've been really pretty cool. Like the way he's played, but he's not. I don't think he's the answer at middle linebacker. I don't think Perry Riley's the answer at middle linebacker. Wide receiver drops. I said it in my last video when I talked about my keys to success, that they needed to help Connor Cook, and I know Connor Cook did not play very well, but they needed to help him make plays. Like, they needed to help him be in a position to be successful. And Cooper dropping that ball, and Crabtree dropping the ball, and Seth Roberts dropping the ball, and Jalen Richard dropping the ball. And you can't do that. You can't do that and expect to win games, and you can't do that with Derek Carr. Yeah, he still manages to pull it out, but you definitely can't do that with Connor Cook and expect to win games. So, wide receiver drops. I heard Jack Del Rio came out today and talked about the 3 areas of needs to improve this offseason, and he said in the secondary, interior pass rush, and he said wide receivers. So, I've seen a lot of mock drafts. I watch mock drafts all year long. I don't know why, I just love the draft process. And a lot of them have started having us taking a wide receiver in the first, and at first I was like, man, that's insane. And I still don't agree with it, but it makes more sense because while I love Seth Roberts and I want to keep Seth Roberts, I don't want to move on from Seth Roberts. He makes a lot of really clutch catches. He drops way too many easy gimme balls, and you can't do that. So we'll see. Um, Quarterback play was pretty bad. I didn't think it was all on Cook. Um, what what can you ask of the kid? I mean, it was the cards were stacked against him. No excuses. He played bad, but first quarterback in NFL history, or at least Super Bowl era history, to get his first career start in a playoff game. You can't ask. You can't ask for much. Another thing that I had said in my, which is why it's frustrating. Another thing I had said in my keys to victory is that we need to limit the amount of offensive third downs that we have, and we need to be good on third downs. And literally, that was the worst I've ever seen on third downs, I feel like. Um, but you get guys, Crabtree dropping the ball on second down, which would have been a first down, and then we don't get it on the next play and we punt. Like, those are the things, those first and second downs. Move the sticks on first and second downs and limit the third downs that Connor Cook has. Would have been what we needed to do. And he was like, what was it, like 0 of 10 for third downs? We were as an offense. He can't do that. Menelik Watson sucked. Austin Howard sucked. I know the Menelik Watson thing for a lot of you, it's going to rub you the wrong way. And don't get me wrong, I like Menelik Watson. That was some of the worst footwork by an offensive lineman I've seen ever. There were times he was coming out of his stance and his feet weren't moving at all, whatsoever. And that's unacceptable. That's how you're getting beat, because you're not moving. So, I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I think we need to move on from these people, but areas to improve. I said it, another thing I said in my last video, I felt like Kelechi Osemele should have been playing left tackle. Would it have made that big a difference? I don't think so, but I feel like he would have done a better job at left tackle than Menelik Watson did, and Menelik Watson would have done a better job at right tackle than Austin Howard did. And you can move Austin Howard to guard and give him that help being inside the box there, not getting beat outside as easily, at least. Or you could have rolled with, John Feliciano, but he came in and played center still. Or Vidal Alexander, I don't know if he was active, or Denver Kirkland. Like, we had a number of options to play at guard. Kick our best offensive lineman out to play left tackle. That's what I thought we should have done. Play calling was, play calling was bad on offense and on defense. You throw that screen on third down and you don't get it, punt it. You throw the same screen on the next third down, and Jadeveon Clowney picks it off. Yeah. So, I've given this some thought about Ken Norton Jr. and about, why am I drawing a blank? Bill Musgrave. I've always been more critical of Ken Norton Jr. Or not Ken Norton Jr., Bill Musgrave. I have not liked his play calls at all, and I think he gets away with it this year because Derek Carr is amazing. However, with that said, pretty sure at one point in time, I love Jack Del Rio, so he's excluded from this, but at one point in time during the game, I yelled, "Fire them all." Like, I was ready to just start fresh, and I've taken some time and I've thought about it, and I've really mulled over what I think is best for the team, and I don't know if we should fire them. Bill Musgrave, you fire Bill Musgrave. Derek Carr is just getting into his own. He's not. I don't know if Carr is at the level. I'm sure he is, but where it'd be a seamless change to run a whole new offense. And defensive wise, I kind of the same thing, and you hear it. I don't know. I like Ken Norton Jr. more. I think he's unproven. He's inexperienced as a defensive coordinator. And I don't know. I go back and forth on it a lot, honestly, with Ken Norton Jr. I could see us firing him before we fire Bill Musgrave, but I think we should fire Bill Musgrave before we fire Ken Norton Jr., or it's pretty close. But I think for the sake of consistency, we should probably try and keep our staff as much the same as possible. With that said, if we have a chance to bring in Wade Phillips as a defensive coordinator and maybe Mike McCoy as an offensive coordinator, that's what I would say we should do. And that's a whole lot of Denver coaches, ex-Denver coaches, but so is Jack Del Rio. I don't know. So I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about the offensive and defensive coordinator and the coaching positions with this team. I don't know. I'm still mulling it over. Ken Norton Jr. is inexperienced, and we don't have the greatest linebacking core, and we don't have the greatest secondary. But you have Khalil Mack and Bruce Irvin, and you couldn't really get them going, or you couldn't put your team in a position to where they could do what they're capable of doing. So the blame lies with him, and it lies with the team, and a little bit lies with Jack. And I love Jack, like I said, but you got to take the responsibility when you're the head coach. So anyway, game was sucked. It's always next year. I feel like I've said that every year since I was 11. This is the most bitter of them all. But there is always next year, and we will be good next year. Don't get me wrong, I know that. So that was what I felt about the game. I'm going to do now's the point where Raiders season is over, so I had to sit down this morning and figure out who I was going to root for the rest of this playoffs and what order. And I've decided that I'm going to root for the Steelers, I think, which is tough as a Raider fan. But, there's some of those rivalries that a lot of Raider fans really, really feel that I've never, really felt in my life, basically because of the time period I've been alive, the games I've experienced, and the place where I live. So I'm not from the Bay Area. I've spent very, 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 very limited time in the Bay Area. So I've never really felt that pure hatred for the Niners that a lot of Raider fans feel. So I don't know. My wife's family are all from Sacramento and grew up big Niner fans, but they also like the Raiders. And I mean, I don't root for the Niners, but I don't despise them. I feel pretty about them, and I think it's cool. One of my best friends is my brother-in-law. He lives with my wife and I, and he's a Niner fan, and so I like to look at their team and what they're doing. But boy, did that feel good when we beat them a couple years back. That really did. So, I'm whatever about the Niners. I'm whatever about the Steelers. I hate the Broncos. I hate the Chiefs. And I hate the Patriots like no one else. Yeah. So, those are my least favorite teams. So, yeah, I think I'm going for either the Steelers or the Falcons. I don't like the Cowboys, and I don't like the Seahawks, and I don't know. So, Steelers or Falcons is who I'm going to go. So, I'm going to do some upcoming, I'll talk a lot in the off-season about what I think about making this team better, because there's things we need to do to make this team better, obviously. So I'll talk free agency, I'll talk draft, I'll do a mock draft. I think I'm going to do a mock draft in the next upcoming days. I haven't done a lot of scouting, and so I kind of want to do a base mock draft and see as I scout, just for my own fun and to open a dialogue with you guys, because I love talking this stuff. see how close I can get it to when the real thing comes by the end before the draft in April. I want to have like a 7-round mock draft and just see how many of those I get right. Probably be pretty sad, but it'd be kind of cool. I've never done it before. So with that said, I'm gonna start scouting, and I have started a little bit. I've been looking at a lot of things, and my opinion, our biggest needs, the most pressing needs, are middle linebacker, cornerback, and defensive tackle. So if you're wanting to look at some prospects coming out, especially tomorrow's big national championship game, for middle linebacker, Reuben Foster is the jewel of this draft, in my opinion, thus far. We won't get him. He won't fall to us unless he like blows out his knee or something tomorrow, because you don't ever wish that on a kid. But Reuben Foster to me is phenomenal. I felt that way about one person last year, that I was like, above all else, I want the Raiders to draft. And like there's I've been really wrong about some prospects, and I feel like I've been really right about prospects, and this prospect hasn't proven. I mean, he's been really good, but he hasn't proven to be what I thought he would be in his rookie year, or as I didn't, I thought he might make the Pro Bowl or something, and he didn't. But the one player I wanted above all else was Carl Joseph, and so I almost pooped my pants when Roger Goodell said Carl Joseph's name, because I did not really think we would take him at 15. So, and then like if you want, you can go to my Facebook wall and scroll down to last year's. The day before last year's mock draft, where I was like, I really, really, really want Carl Joseph. So that was pretty cool when we got that. Right now, I feel the same way about Reuben Foster. We won't get him. He'll be a top 5 draft pick, I'm sure, or at least top 10. Zach Cunningham from Vanderbilt. I've heard from one of the YouTubers I watch that he is thinking about, he's got an inside source at Vanderbilt, and he's thinking about coming back to school. I don't know how serious that was, but that's what he said. So this is in no particular order either. But Zach Cunningham, Raekwon McMillan from Ohio State, and Jarrad Davis from Florida. Those are middle linebacker prospects to start looking at if you want to. There's a lot of film on them, a lot of highlight tapes. I watch highlight tapes just to kind of get like a base, and then I'll go in and watch actual film and see what the consistency looks like. Cornerback, Marlon Humphreys from Alabama, Quincy Wilson from Florida, Marshawn Lattimore from Ohio State, Sidney Jones from Washington, Teez Tabor from Florida, Desmond King from Iowa. Just some guys to look at. And then defensive tackle, Malik McDowell from Michigan State, Caleb Brantley from Florida. Florida, man. Florida been putting out some defensive players. Yeah, so Caleb Brantley from Florida, or Chris Wormley from Michigan. So if you're interested, go check out some of those guys. I'm going to watch some tape on them, break it down a little bit more, talk to you guys about what I think. So yeah, and then I like to get more creative with this channel. I'm still getting used to this video making thing. I'm still getting comfortable with it, and I'm loving doing it. So I'm going to try and figure out ways that I can make better content for you guys. So let me know what you want to see. Let me know what you think. Yeah, so anyway, that's just where I'm standing here. That's my channel. If you like it, like it. If you don't, dislike it. That's okay. Comment. Let me know what you think. Be honest. Subscribe if you haven't, if you want to. And I'll be talking to you guys shortly. All right, just win, baby.